This is homemade apple butter, and at the beginning of October 2022, my family and I set out on the mission to create some homemade for the very first time. And this video is explaining how it gets done. So we're going to head on over to my uncle's farm. I'll show you how we did it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
Just as long as you love.
And here's where it all went down. 2 of these fire pits were for cooking food, and the other one was for cooking the apple butter. And obviously the main ingredient that you're going to need is a whole bunch of apples. So the juicy apples are going to go from this to this. And the first step in processing all these apples was peeling them. And I'm going to let Trace explain one of 2 ways that we got the job done.
Take the apple. You just fork it in here like this, just center. Right?
You ever poked yourself with that thing?
I have. Right here, see, look at that. Looks like a honeycrisp.
With a large amount of peelings left over, we ended up throwing those out to the deer, and then that goes on to the second way of processing, which was the good old-fashioned way of just whittling away at them with a knife or using a potato peeler. Both were pretty effective, but not near as fast as the spinning machine. Oh, wow, he dropped it. Last up, it was cutting out any of the bruised sections of the apples, pulling out the seeds, and then slicing out the cores. Then once everything was processed up, we threw all the apples into this big cooler, and we waited till the morning before we threw them into the big copper kettle.
Is that it?
And my uncle ordered this kettle from Bucyrus Copper Kettle Works in Bucyrus, Ohio. They have a really cool company that's been in business for over 100 years. I'll put a link in the description to their website. You guys should check them out. They're really cool. With the apple process up and running, it was time to start working on tomorrow's lunch, which was beans. Zane, here, do something funny. There you go. Come on, there's gonna be some hot chicks watching this video. You're looking weak.
Yeah, they are.
And we ended up taking the beans, putting them in this pot here, which was another one of the copper kettles, just a smaller version, and we soaked them overnight. Then we took the cast iron pot outside over the fire, got it seasoned up with some bacon. Alrighty, and that concludes the first evening. We couldn't cook the apple butter that evening because it was going to take 12 hours to cook. So we went home, rested up, came back the next morning ready to rock and roll.
Okay.
Enough.
Sure. Jay, you look so strong. Here's the operation. It's got to go for 12 hours. Looks like applesauce. Once we had all the apples thrown into the kettle, it was just a matter of stirring until our arms fell off. But I'll get into that further in the video. We just had to make sure all the fires were stocked up. Specifically, here's for the beans. Let's get into the beans and see how they were looking.
Holy shnikes!
You don't need a garden shovel to scoop them big things.
Yeah, that sauerkraut, that's not bad. Beans, sauerkraut, and ham. Made for a pretty delicious lunch. As you can see with my model Trace here, showing you just how yummy those were. Jay, how many hours of cook time we got so far?
Well, we started really cooking at 5, so I don't even know what time it is.
5. 10:30, so we got 5.5 hours in. We're almost halfway. We did end up throwing in a couple more apples at the halfway point here, just to make sure that we had enough for everybody going around.
Got all nice and mixed up in there. Oh, that's nice.
And like I said earlier, we had to stir and stir and stir. We just pretty much would go back and forth with the paddle, walking around and around in a circle, and we did that for the whole 12 hours. Everybody at the whole function ended up getting on the paddle at one point or another. And if you didn't stir it like this and get all of the apple butter off of the bottom of the kettle, it would burn it and it would stick to it. Everybody from my Grammy got in on the action.
It's probably the cookies you ate.
Are you guys pros at this now? And even the little kids. We made sure that everybody had a turn and got to join in on the experience. And since we did add some of the apples a little bit late, there were some larger chunks that we wanted to make sure got processed up. So my Uncle Jay pulled out his drill and we kind of just beated them up like this. We also had a band come in for some entertainment. The girl that's playing the guitar and the banjo is my cousin Sarah, and they have an awesome band called the Backwoods Bluegrass Band. I'll put a link in the description to some of their videos below. They're really awesome, and they ended up playing for the rest of the day. Made the evening really relaxing. Everybody just kind of got to sit around, either eat some beans, churn some apple butter, or just sit and listen to the band. It was pretty fun.
Just 10 pounds of sugar. How much do you
And
think
we've
we're gonna
already put in 5 pounds of brown sugar.
Okay. And that 5 pound of brown sugar didn't hardly do anything.
This is one of the first bags we put in. We ended up putting 2 or 3 more of these in, and then another bag of the brown sugar. So altogether we had about 35 or 40 pounds of sugar in this thing. And that seems like quite a bit of sugar, but that's honestly what the recipe called for. We taste tested it like 9 or 10 different times. Finally got it to the sweetness that we liked, got it to the proper cooking time, and as you can see, everybody was really tired, and it was time to jar this stuff.
It'll slip and run down. I think that's why we're going to have some people here to help.
You got it, Trace?
Yep.
Now, let's sit her down.
Well, why are we going to sit it? Yeah, let's keep going.
Take a glove, somebody. Good.
Here, Luke, get in there.
Bend over.
Hurry, get a glove on, Luke. A glove! Grab the handle. That would lift, now lift, yeah.
Gosh, you guys are awesome.
Wow, look at us.
That's I don't even help.
Get a good video on this, Corbin.
Yeah, exactly.
Somehow we moved it without spilling it, which looked like a pretty sketchy operation, but it was time to jar it. So we went down and got a bunch of mason jars at the store, set up our assembly line, and got it going.
You ever seen one like it before?
You'll be wipe duty. Or if needed, and then just get the next one ready.
Yeah, maybe not.
Coming towards the end here.
Altogether, the entire jarring process took about 30 or 40 minutes.
My gosh, I can't believe it.
6 bushel, you said 80 quarts.
Product. You're better off buying it.
By the time the day was over, we all had a bunch of apple butter to take home, a belly full of beans, and memories that would last a lifetime, spent with friends and family. It was a really great day. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. God bless. As always, have a good one.
All right, guys, I'll see you later.